Hmm. No one would feel some type of way about that. All right, let's
Yeah,
move
like
on.
Rich Homie Quan.
R.I.P. Let's move on to the to the NBA. A lot of I'm gonna try to pull all of these up. There
But
were
while he does
a
that,
lot of
it's a
signings.
flurry. It's basically today is the deadline for rookie extensions. Um, and of course, at the end, Rich Paul, in true Rich Paul fashion, he runs it up. And he made a bunch of teams make some decisions today. And if your name is Jalen, you
Or
got
Jaden.
paid, or Jaden, you got paid. This is exciting. But while he gets the rookie extension pulled up, we got one more who's not a rookie, and that's Aaron Gordon. He got, I
Four
want to
years,
say,
133.
yes, 4 years, $133 million, and he has a player option in 2028, 29. This also has a trade kicker, which means that if he gets traded, it's probably a 10 or 15% tax on top of that they have to pay to trade him. The reason that I find that this is interesting is they already got Joker, who,
Come on to Atlanta. I know you're gonna come on to
oh yeah,
Atlanta.
yeah, yeah. So we've already paid. I mean, they've already paid Joker. They've already paid Murray. Y'all know that the second apron is a thing now, and them paying Aaron Gordon makes him basically the third contract. The issue is there's this guy who happens to be our point guard's best friend, Michael Porter Jr. The way that the tax is set up now, if they can weather the storm for 2 years, then it might be interesting. They might be able to still rock it if the if the TV deal can compensate. But I don't think that this lasts long enough. And it looks like Michael Porter Jr. is going to be the odd man out in Denver, or they're just not going to pay anybody on the bench. They're basically going full Celtics.
Well, I think I do think them signing uh Aaron Gordon to this deal is part of what happens. I think the other part is Christian Braun. Is it Braun? Braun?
Yes, Bron.
Him continuing to elevate his game.
I like him. I love him.
He's the bench. So you're answering he's the bench. But then if you get rid of
You know he ain't but one player, right?
well, listen, if you get rid of Porter Jr., you then can use that money because he's at like 100 and whatever million, more than Gordon. You could
He's
take that
35 a year.
you could take that money away and then go sign some more bench players because your starting lineup, that Gordon is now part of your starting three. Like that's your big three compared to anybody else. So compared to so at that point you got to go get a bench. So I would trade Michael Porter Jr. and then just use that money to get him. Now he is Trae Young's best friend, and I'm glad you brought that up because we're also going to talk about Donovan Clingan. He's a rookie. He's not going to get a extension because he's a rookie, but he is balling over there in Portland.
Well,
And
he'll be a rookie, so he'll be a cheap
what does that
contract.
mean for Aiton? They got Aiton and Rashawn Holmes, and now you have Clingan who can shoot the three.
No, no,
Block.
no, no. You got Williams from the Celtics.
Oh, Robert Williams. I'm sorry,
Robert
Aiton,
Williams,
Robert
yeah.
Williams, and now you have Donovan Clingan. And to me, the
The
Hawks. This all relates to the Hawks because you can now get either him or you could trade for Michael Porter Jr. You probably can't do both because I believe the Hawks just paid Jalen Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, if I can find it.
yes, we paid Jalen Johnson 5 years, 130 million. Yeah, it's 130 million. It's basically the John Collins contract.
Fully
Uh,
guaranteed, 5 years, 150 million. Here it
yeah.
is.
So actually, it's a little upgrade. Yeah.
So what that?
So
So you add all of that in, so you can't trade Jalen. So you got.
no,
So you
you
got it. You
he's the
got those
most
three.
untradeable person on the team, even more than Trey. I think. Well, definitely now that he's got this contract, which I think long term, this is going to be
The
once the new
standard,
money comes out, this is
standard
going to be
thirty
this is going to be a
million.
very yeah. But for him, we're basically buying in a year early. He's
Have to.
had one good season, so we're paying in advance, which is cool
Mm-hmm.
because we're gonna get a discount on the back end, which I'm fine with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So I like this. I think that DeAndre Hunter and Clint Capella have to be reasonably the next people moved. I think that they could very well be interested in moving and getting Aiton, as you said, because if they have Klingon and Robert Williams is healthy. Now, if Robert Williams is healthy, then they can move in that direction. Because they can find a perfectly normal third center and be fine. If Robert Williams is not healthy, then you probably gotta go with the iteration of Aiton and Klingon. But
I mean,
the problem is Klingon
it's good.
we've watched DeAndre Ayton play in two different places. And even when he plays well, there's no influence on the game. He just doesn't really influence winning or losing games, which I know sounds crazy because he's like almost a 20-10 guy, but he just doesn't influence winning enough.
Quiet 20-10.
So if you can get Klingon who can actually influence the game, then yeah, you're going to move away from a guy that's like 30, 35 million if you can get Robert Williams to play 18 minutes a night and then let Klingon play the rest of the time. He's younger, you got Scoot over there anyway. You got a young group of people. Not that Ayton doesn't really fit the timeline, but Ayton is more, I think, getting closer to what it should be. Probably his prime. He's not going to play forever, not at that size, and especially not sleeping on air mattresses. So that's a callback. So yeah, I think that Atlanta could be primed to move him. Now the other part is they probably need to the Blazers would need to move on from Jeremy Grant. That was a terrible contract. That contract's about as bad as when the Knicks got Evan Fournier. You just doing stupid things for no reason. And Ravens score again, baby. We up, baby.
So yeah, so the Hawks got Jalen. So he's locked in. So as Norwood just said, there will be no. This is not the only move. I think the Hawks, by the time all of this settles in terms of trade deadline and all of that stuff, I feel like the Hawks are probably going to be. They're going to look a lot different. I don't expect two to three players, maybe 3 or 4, to be moved.
I mean, if you look at it, Okongwu's older. Okongwu's old enough to play the 5 now. Jalen at the 4, he's a good rebounder, so he helps where Okongwu's not a great rebounder. You expect Reza Shea to play the 3. They talking about Reza Shea might be the second tallest person on the team, only behind Mohamed Gay, which means they believe he's taller than Clint Capella. And then you have Dyson Daniels, who's like 6'7" at the 2. And then you have Itty Bitty Trey. I mean, it's spacing.
Yeah. They have a plan. That's why I'm reserving judgment on the Hawks, and we'll move on from here because there's a whole lot of other signings that we'll run through.
I'm not reserving nothing. Trade him. He's the problem now.
They're not gonna trade Trey. The Golden State Warriors signed Moses Moody, 3 years, $39 million. CEO of Sports.
Too low.
This is probably a win for the Warriors. They slow played Moody to a $13 million a year contract for his re-up. I believe he does have an out after year 2. So
this is bad business.
But I mean, it is what it is.
You could have waited. I think he's a good enough player that he could have just got this deal. Even if it's not with the Warriors. All right, the Warriors cut me. I can go somewhere else and make
40,
he could have made
15
15,
million.
20. Yeah,
but would he have the 15? Opportunity? Would he have the opportunity, and will he be able to win? Right now, he's with the Warriors, a proven winner, and he's probably going to have the opportunity to play more now. So
you're not about to win. Look at the West. Y'all don't have it.
Well, then where would he go?
Go somewhere and get your money? One thing I'm not going to do is stay somewhere and not win and not get my money.
Yeah. So you got Moses Moody. I was kind of surprised on the Trey Murphy, but I'm not when I thought about it, because that means Brandon Ingram will be on the move. 4-year, $112 million is starter money. Moses Moody got reserve money. This starter money means that one of the starters that's there has to go. They've already committed to Zion. I believe Ingram doesn't want to be there by all intents and purposes, reading the body language and everything. It's interesting signing.
Doesn't fit anywhere. I mean, you got McCollum, who I think they should probably be looking ready to move forward from. I think that at this point, I don't know if you can because he's so pricey, but if I could bail on that contract to his age and his ability, I would. You got DeJounte, you have Brandon Ingram, you have Zion, you have Trey Murphy, you have Herb Jones. How?
Yeah, Ingram is the odd guy out because you got to have a center,
Yeah, well,
and
no, well,
everybody
they
else
say
is the same.
Herb Jones is going to play center.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever. But
That is kind of the benefit of everybody being about the same height. That's the reason that Trey Murphy is going to get the reason Trey Murphy's getting this money. He's the right height.
6'10".
He's the right length. Pause.
Jump.
He can shoot the ball and he plays within the system. He's not a diva. Hey, where do you need me to do?
And he can dunk.
So yeah.
Athletic.
I mean, Brandon Ingram you probably a better ISO scorer, but you're not a better defender. You need the ball way more in your hand, and you're not a great creator for anybody else. And you got to have the ball in your hand as Ingram. DeJounte got to have the ball. Zion has to have the ball. How?
Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. We'll see where Brandon Ingram goes.
Everybody to the Hornets. Everybody to the Hornets.
I was thinking about teams. I was like, the Hornets, Brandon Ingram. But Brandon Ingram actually could probably fit with Memphis. Him and Ja, because you have those guys that can play. And then you have Jaren Jackson Jr. But, yeah, you don't have – but they signed Marcus Smart.
Yeah, I was about to say you got rid of Marcus Smart and the other person who I hate to say it. What's the two guard?
Short arms, Desmond Bain.
Yeah, him. Yep. Do you want Desmond Bain or do you want Brandon Ingram?
Bain. He fights you. He'll fight for you. Ingram will fight for him. Bain will fight for you.
I don't know. I mean, you talking about like team fight, like in the game. Brandon Ingram just wants to punch people.
Yes.
But I mean, Charlotte. Y'all just keep missing on people. This is the one. LaMelo. Brandon. What's his name?
The rookie?
Yes, him and Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Miller.
Yes. The Brandons. Reckless of Brandon. That is something that you could that's scary. Because they're all like, man, make that happen. Y'all need to make me the GM, and I'm calling James Borrego back. So the worst thing y'all did was get rid of Borrego.
Yeah, you probably need that. But, I mean, I agree. That's a decent signing. It would be a decent signing, and that would definitely elevate them because then LaMelo you can't really double anybody at that point because Brandon Miller, LaMelo, and Brandon Ingram, along with the center and power forward, they got to just like to jump and get rebounds and block shots. He's like a Daniel Gafford mold type dude. I can't remember his name. I think
Mark Williams. Really, if you could go LaMelo,
the other guy.
Miles Bridges?
Nope, I forgot about Miles Bridges at center.
Yes. Oh, Nick Richards, but he's on the bench. I'm telling you, my starting lineup, if I'm the Hornets, LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Brandon Ingram, Miles Bridges, Mark Williams, and I think you could make one more trade. One more. It's going to be somebody else who's available that.
Yeah, but I mean they got the money, so we'll see. It's a lot of movement. It definitely could be.
And you can get my first round pick. Y'all ain't drafting well enough to for that.
Yeah. Moving on real quick. Corey Kispert. Interesting. Agreed to a 4-year, $54 million extension, which to me looks like another role player. That's 17 a year. That's not even 17 a year. That's 13.
No, this is we are at a very strange point when it comes to basketball where the second apron has changed things and we don't have the new TV deal. So there are going to be a lot more of these, as my boy Nick Young calls them, corner store signings.
Here's another
where
one.
You're going to get paid about this much. You can play on a team. Like you can get $17 million and play on the Wizards. Or you can get $6 million and play on Dallas. But that's going to be the new norm, at least for now, until the salary cap goes up. Is somewhere
There's no
between.
middle tier anymore. There's just you're right. Nothing,
No,
something.
no, no. There's a middle tier. There's definitely a middle tier. There's not. There's a Luka. Brandon Ingram is the middle tier.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It again, like you said, Jaden Hardy with the 3 years, 18 million. Hey, Jalen Suggs of the Orlando Magic, who is another team that Brandon Ingram could go. Him and Paolo would be crazy.
Sneaky, my apologies.
Jalen Suggs, 5 years, $150 million, $30.1 million per year contract extension.
No. This is an overpay.
I did not
now,
see
let
this
me
coming.
tell you,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't see this one coming.
this is an overpay. This is like the Evan Fournier contract, but Suggs is better. I like Suggs a lot, but Suggs, I think, is a role player. I honestly think he's a backup. I would not have paid this money. I would have found another way to get me a guard. I would rather have paid Anthony Simons. I would rather get Anthony Simons. There are other people who can be had that I can have instead of him. Suggs is not going to do enough on offense. And the Magic still don't have a guard that can score 15, 20 points consistently a night.
The thing about this is at $30 million, you expect him to be the second best player on your team.
He ain't going to be the fourth.
You got Paolo, you got Franz, you have, I think they've traded Preacher Man, right?
No, he's still there, and Wendell Carter Jr.
And Wendell Carter Jr. That's just the front court.
Yeah.
So obviously Markelle Fultz, I don't think he's signed. He's still looking for a contract, which I don't understand that one. So he's gonna be your guy. And the thing about this contract is it's not tradable. Nobody's gonna trade for this contract. So you are committing to Jalen Suggs. Y'all are committing thinking that he is the number 2 player on your team.
And I wouldn't have, like, this is the thing. If you're gonna do this, then you do a 3-year. I'm not doing a 5-year. I'm not giving you 5 years and $150 million. You're gonna pick your poison, because the other part is they got Anthony Black, who I think they expect to be good, and they have Jet Howard, who they expect to be good.
I forgot about Jet Howard.
I'm gonna find and I think they have a decent amount of draft picks. I could just find a guy who's going to be able to do most of what Jalen Suggs can do and pay him probably $20 million a year. I like Jalen Suggs. I don't think he's better than Bogey. Hell no. If I got to pick one, it ain't you, my boy.
Yeah. So, to me, that definitely was an overpay too. Let's see. We already talked about Hardy. Let's see. 3 years, $106 million. I would have paid. Jalen Green is better than Suggs to me offensively. I think Suggs is better defensively. 3 year, $106 million is more what I thought you would have paid Suggs than what they paid Jalen Green.
Oh no, he's taking a short on this.
Yeah, he's going to try to get out because he has a player option after year 2, so that he can opt out when the money comes in, and he'll be able to get more money.
Yep. That also does give them this unique young window. Kind of, they're very similar to OKC with a little less seasoning to me. And I guess the Magic, I kind of put in the same boat of these are young teams that should be competitive. Now, being in the West is a little bit more difficult.
That's why I wouldn't put Magic in it, because OKC is in the top of the West.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I mean, if you look at the Rockets, if they take this season, I think they should be a lot better. You got Sengun, who they also paid 5 years, 185. And let me tell you, this was the deal to make.
I mean, everybody knew it was coming. I mean, look at all of the contracts that we've talked about signing, and then you look at his. They knew they couldn't let him go. He's the best
No.
player on the team. And him and Jabari, quietly as kept, are a really good duo.
Yep.
They are a really, really good duo. So if they can lock those up and the guards can play it, they just got to learn how to play a little bit of defense. They need a little bit of more maturity.
And I hate to say it, I think the thing that's holding them back for at least this season, Fred VanVleet, you don't match up, and you taking up too much money not to be good enough. Personally,
Well, yeah, but who would you get instead? Fred VanVleet is the adult in the room. So who would you get to be the adult in the room in Houston?
I'm trading Fred VanVleet at $42 million and an expiring. I can move. This is movable.
Well, they might
Movable.
not be done. All of this is just remember a lot of this is just getting stuff ready. Wow, that's bright.
I 100% am moving Fred VanVleet on an expiring contract. I am looking for Detroit. What would you guys like? Anybody who I think is, I'm not trying to be like, I'm dead serious. Like, you trying to move off of something. There are things that can be moved off of. Boy, that's bad as the Pistons. But that can be moved off of and like possible assets. I might, it's some guys that you might be interested in. No, that don't work. Yeah, but there's just it's reasonable. It's reasonable.
Yeah.
That team option helps this.
So this is, boy, the NBA and the NFL have figured it out. They literally cover their sport year round. As soon as the NFL hits the dog days I ain't gonna say the dog days at NFL, but it gets really, really important. The NBA comes and does the rookie extensions right before the beginning of the season.
But this also shows like the NBA cooled off. That second apron cooled the NBA a lot more than
no
it
more
used to
Warriors.
be. It used to be, hey, 365 days a year we can talk basketball. Now it's like, oh well, this all the money we got.
What's the Warriors owner? What's the Warriors owner that's now a commentator? He got out right in time. He changed the game. I'm gonna buy everything and everybody.
Yeah. Well, he was a GM, but yeah, he got out and then he left that to Dunleavy. And
Dunleavy, they're all old. So it is what it is. But what I'm saying is he got out right in time.
He let him get old. He let Dunleavy have all the tough conversations.
Yep. That's what I'm really out of here. Smart man. Hey, delegate. Yeah. Moving on. Let's talk about these injuries real quick before we get to the around the league edition. Chris Middleton is expected to miss Wednesday's season opener versus the Philadelphia 76ers. He's out to start the NBA season as he rehabs season ankle injuries. And if you've been following basketball, Chris Middleton has had these ankle injuries now for 2 to 3 years. It's similar to kind of how Steph Curry started his career, and then he had some deer antler spray injected into his bones, and he ain't had no ankle spray since. And I'm joking about that, but
allegedly.
Well, he's got the custom Under Armour molded ankle support thing that's only one of one. He's got a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, not to bury the lead, Chris Middleton is now hurt, which is one.
No. This can't work anymore. In order for them to be good, they need everybody. This isn't anymore just give the ball to Giannis. The Celtics have become adults. The Knicks are a deep team now. You need Chris Middleton, and you need to be the best version of himself. And I think that this adds more trouble to Giannis and Dame figuring it out, because you need that third guy who can just. Well, yeah, you spent so much money.
Well, the thing is, and we'll get to Kawhi. I guess we'll get to Kawhi and the other here in a second. With Middleton, they saw this coming though. They tried to get off of the Middleton contract last year, but he kept being hurt. And then he came back just in time for them to show that he could still play a little bit, and then he got hurt again. and now he's having off-season surgery. So if he's
And there's no answer on this bench either. I mean,
yeah,
Dame at the 1, Gary Trent Jr. at the 2, Chris Middleton. I guess you play Torian Prince at the 3.
well,
Oh,
they'd have to go. I guess my thought, what I was saying was they'd have to go finish. They'd have to go get somebody if Middleton can't play, and I don't know how they go get somebody with the money. But I mean, Giannis might be out of there. To be honest, you see the Hail Mary of them going to sign Thanasis. They
you want to
bringing
be
him back.
honest?
They bringing him back. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that sure. I mean, if you look at the rest of this bench, the Nasus is he blends like everybody else.
And if you think that the Bucks are in a bad position, let me tell you about this team in LA. The Los Angeles Clippers, Kawhi Leonard is expected to be sidelined indefinitely as he rehabilitates the inflammation in his right knee. It has become, and I guess, I don't know if this was fact or this was discussion points, but I believe it was reported by some of the media. This all stems back from the Spurs when he said his knee was hurt, and they said, "Nah, you'll be all right." And he was like, "No, I'm really, really hurt." And it turns out, allegedly,
I think he should be able to suit him.
Allegedly, he has a degenerative knee, and the degenerative knee was made worse because the Spurs didn't act accordingly when he told them, which is why he wanted out. Then he went to LA and he played on it, and he tried to do load management to slow down the deterioration, but he kept tearing his ACL or he tore his MCL, and it was all in the right knee. And the fact that all of this is coming out now explains to me why, like, oh, well, now we know why he tore his knee up every time. His knee is basically disintegrating.
Yeah.
We may not see him again.
I think that I think that he should be able to sue the Spurs. They definitely were like, oh, he's perfectly fine. He, in fact, has never been perfectly fine. That was a lie. Or it's just bad doctoring. One of the two. Either you're a really bad doctor, that means we need to highlight this doctor so people don't go there, or you lie. One of the two. You're either bad at your job or you're a liar. And whatever answer you give us is the one we'll take. But their problem is you got all the James Harden. I still think that James is good. Norm Powell not good enough to be a 2. Terrence Mann not enough to be a 3. Kawhi is hurt, and you got Zubac. Kevin Porter Jr. I think is going to be a good basketball player for them. But I mean, Chris Dunn, Amir Coffey, Derrick Jones Jr., Mo Bamba, no. Nothing on this team looks good. And you don't even have control of your pick. Your pick.
Wait. That's what I wanted to get to next.
Go ahead.
The fact that they have all of this, and they could end up in the lottery of Kawhi. They talking about Kawhi might not play this year, which means they could end up in the lottery. If they end up in the lottery, the pick swap goes to OKC. And if they end up in the lottery without making the play-in and are terrible, you already know, and OKC hypothetically gets this number 1 pick, I don't even know what I would do. I mean, I know what I would do, because the person that you add is Cooper Flagg, who looks like he is insane at Duke already. You would have Cooper Flagg added to that. I don't even know what the starting 5 is. SGA, Chet, Cooper Flagg, Jalen, and Jalen. You'd have to trade, what's his name? That's what it is. You'd have to trade Lou Dort.
My boy, gone. Take the balloons with you.
I had to talk myself through it to figure out like what you would do. But even with that apron money, though, you could bring Flagg off the bench. Ooh, Caruso.
You move Jalen back to the 3. Cooper Flagg at the 4, Chet at the 5, and I mean the issue is, and the guy who
Jalen.
Nah, I don't know if I could do it, but I just might play a stupid lineup. I might play Jalen at the 2.
You could do whatever you want because you still have Hartenstein, even though he's hurt with a displaced fracture in his left hand. He's out for 5 to 6 weeks. You still have Hartenstein. So you could play Chet at the 4.
Yes.
You could play Chet at the 4. You could play Cooper at the 3. You could play SGA at the 1. And you could play Jalen at the 2. You could play Lou Dort's out of there. You could play Caruso at the 2. You have a lineup of 6'8" to 7'2".
And I want to be clear, it ain't.
This
Oh,
is
that's the
exciting,
other
actually.
person. You don't have to take Cooper Flag. You could very well take Ace Bailey, the kid from Rutgers,
You don't
who's a
have to take
killer.
Cooper Flag, and I understand Ace Bailey is a killer, but if Cooper Flag is there, you got to take Cooper Flag.
They both like 6'10".
Oh, Ace Bailey, the dude from Utah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. No, he ain't from no Utah.
No,
They just got him out
no.
there.
I think that's the kid, AJ DeBanter, who you're talking about.
He's
That's the
good too.
kid they talking. He's gonna. They talking about he like $8-9 million to play college football. I mean college basketball. What?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind of
I
kind
need
of
$9
crazy.
million to play next year, or I'm not playing. I'm not even showing up. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Don't holler at me, my boy. I ain't doing it.
Yeah, so they got a lot going on. It's gonna be interesting how this all plays out with the new money in the next 2 years. Um, I am interested to see what the Hawks do, of course, because the Hawks have a little bit of makeup to do. We got to fill out our roster right now. Jalen obviously is gonna be 1B. Trey is 1A. We got to figure out who the third person is. Who's gonna be
Oh, Big Rich, Reese Shea. That's their plan. He's going to be
That's a lot for somebody
The
to.
team is mostly set.
That's a lot
Well,
to put on a rookie, though. To
to
me,
be the third option
yeah,
with a low expectation. I mean, realistically, I don't think the Hawks have an expectation of being any higher than 7. So if you don't have to be any higher than 7, then yeah, you got Bogey, who's still a competent basketball player. The addition of Dyson Daniels on as far as size in the backcourt. Yeah, I think that, and you're getting a Reza Shea, who the one thing that I do like and give him a lot of credit is he's been a pro. He's
he's
played
smooth, dog.
and
He's smooth.
he's been a professional role player.
He's
That's the
smooth,
difference
dog.
between getting a kid who played at Duke and has been the number one guy. You always been the primary focus. Reza Shea was just playing within a system. You was sharing minutes with guys who twice your age. You just kind of get it how you can. So yeah, I think that he'll be a perfectly fine role player. The thing now is the expectation more on Jalen Johnson.
And from what I've seen in the preseason, although I know you're not big on preseason, what I've seen in the preseason, he is asserting himself. That's aside from scoring and all that other stuff, he's asserting himself as the guy. And I guess once you get that money, then
that's the reason I don't believe that there was a market for Trey. That's the reason they traded DeJounte. Because if you could have moved Trey and kept DeJounte, Dice, and then had, I guess you probably would have made the same trade and had Dyson Daniels, but
I would have. You wouldn't have been able to do nothing on defense. On offense.
oh yeah,
Them three.
DeJounte, Dyson Daniels, Reza Shea, Jalen Johnson, and then you could play a Kongwu at the 5. You wouldn't even have to worry about Clint.
But
it's lockdown defense.
Yeah,
but we shall see. But I want to give y'all a heads up because nobody knows basketball season starts on tomorrow.
Yeah, opening game is tomorrow.
Knicks and Celtics, 6:30 tomorrow. TNT.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all tune in. And I think Lakers Timberwolves is the game too. Ant and LeBron.
Correct.
Yeah, so hey y'all, we about to be back.
Get y'all league pass together. Get y'all league pass together.
Hey, you supposed to? You got it already? Because we got ours. Me and Kev. I think Mike's supposed to. You know what that means, y'all. We about to be back to these 3.5 hour podcasts, 4 hour podcasts. Y'all go ahead and turn up with your boys. It is what it is. But we've come to the end of the pregame, episode 1. I'm gonna have to turn this down, Lord. I look like Casper. We come to
Bronco. I mean, not the Bronco. Bucks getting whooped, boy.
Yeah, it's what 30,
41-18. Run it up, run it up, run it up.
We've come to the end of the pregame. We'll be right back, y'all. We're going to take a break, and then we are going to start with episode 163. If you're listening on the audio experience, go ahead and press next to the next episode 163 of the Splash Cast. Like, follow, subscribe.
And tell somebody about the pod. And for all the people who are here live, go ahead and put your drinks in the freezer or the fridge. So when we come out, y'all know what time it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There we go. Turn that monitor down. All right, we'll be right back. Y'all stay tuned.
Tuned.
Until next time.
What should they do? Like, follow, subscribe. Thank you, my friend. We in for it.